God's favor is on this country, I can tell you. I had been doing some great interaction with some frontline workers, mainly health people over the last 12 hours. And it looks like the risk that they take is worth it, but also they know that they're in the front line because they have to dedicate themselves to this country, the people that they serve, and also the institutions that they work for. Wherever you work, if you are one of those frontliners or frontline workers, we are JoyNews and the rest of the multimedia subsidiaries. We say thank you for doing a great job. All right. And this is what we bring you. 25 years of excellent broadcasting, impactful journalism, and great content. And that is what is being celebrated right here on multimedia and the rest of the subsidiaries, but more so JoyNews. And as you get to interact with us this morning, we encourage you to become very much active on Facebook, JoyNews on TV, and also Twitter at JoyNews on TV. Through myjoyonline.com and then myjoyonline TV, which is our official channel. Today, we want to have a great interaction. We want to have an interaction and look at all the things that have been good and bad about the lockdown from your perspective. We also noticed something, that over the last 24 hours, it looked like the police, the military, and the rest of the security services deployed for the lockdown seem to have toned down the scale of the checks, etc. Is that the case? So we decided to invite into the studio some of the big men to help us. We have DSP Efia Tinge, who is a public relations boss for Accra Region Police Command, and he'll be joining us. We'll have some great interaction as well. And then, of course, we have ACP Kwesi Fori, who is the Operations Director. So Director for Operations, the Accra Region Police Command. And guess what? We have a man, by virtue of great technology, streaming into the studio. And I have to say good morning to you, Kojo Yankson.
Good morning to you, Daddy Roro.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm very well, working from home, missing you guys, but very glad I can join you today.
Anyway, and I see that you've been under lockdown, but also doing some great work from home. How has the experience been so far?
Well, I've got to tell you, working from home it's not easy. It's a mental challenge because I'm in my very relaxed surroundings, got my son running around, so it's difficult for me to think as if I'm at work, but I absolutely have to. So that tends to be the challenge. Every morning I have to schedule my day and make sure that everything I do is productive.
Yeah, I can see behind you, you are a subsidiary of Netflix. But don't worry. Can you just take us through what we have for the morning as well? I already did the lineup for our interaction with the police. And I'm sure that you also have had some interactions with the personnel while you try to ply through the road or the routes around your area.
Well, I've got to say, every morning I observe the main road from my balcony. And from the beginning of the lockdown, there were almost no cars. But I started to notice from Monday a marked increase in the number of vehicles on the main road. People seemed to think that it's actually okay this week to do things that they were unable to do last week. Now, I had to go and pick up some milk. And on my way to the supermarket in my locality, I got to our police checkpoint, and I noticed that the police officers there were sitting under the shelter, and the cars were being allowed to move through. That was not the case last week. So something is changing. I'm not sure what it is, whether it's just a flash in the pan, or whether we are now observing a different level of security and different level of enforcement from the police and military.
And so we'll have some good personalities as well as those representatives of this whole lockdown security personnel, and we'll have some interactions.
Certainly.
Well, and then also we're going to have Colonel retired Festus Abwaji, or Colonel Festus Abwaji, retired security analyst as well. And then, well, so ensuring security of the financial market is important. But while you think about the bigger picture, what about yourself? And Kojo, one of the things that we have to talk about is to maintain your own financial security and then your sense of prudent spending. How has it been for you, Kojo?
Well, for me, it hasn't been any different. I'm still working, and I have to, provide for the home. It's still the same situation. But I realize that for many people who own businesses, this is a marked change. Imagine that you sell paint, for example, not an essential item, so you have to shut down your paint shop. How are you going to cope for however long this lockdown lasts? You have to also do the same thing that I'm having to do, but your situation has markedly changed. Today, I'd love to hear from people like that.
Yeah, definitely. And that is why in the studio, we're going to have Roderick Aye, who is a finance expert, and then we'll have some discussions on the subject. But one of the things that, Kojo, we've been doing is making sure we stay in touch with each other through technology. And I see that that's exactly what we're doing, Kojo.
Absolutely. Thanks to the magic of technology. You and I are starting the AM show today. I can't wait for the rest of it.
Yeah, definitely. And to help us expatiate on that discussion, we'll have Kingston Tego, who is a vice president for Rankat, and they are into info solutions and offering the best of applications as well as technology to make sure that many processes are undertaken with ease.